Okay, folks, here are three big stories, and this is going to go a little bit longer because I have to give some background to some things. The last thing I talked about earlier today was explosions near the St. Petersburg airport. We didn't know enough about it. There was no actual news at the time, but this is about 5 hours ago now that the thing actually happened. I was only showing you what was on Twitter because that's all that was there. Okay, so now Euromaidan Press, a massive fire erupted in an industrial area near the airport in St. Petersburg, engulfing approximately 1,000 square meters. The airport has been closed as a result. Local officials had earlier reported repelling a drone attack in the area, and it's likely that a drone attack caused the fire. And it appears to have been not just an industrial area, but a hangar of some sort. Large fire breaks out near St. Petersburg Airport. Airport's closed. Authorities blame a drone attack. The airport in St. Petersburg, Russia, was closed on Sunday, 10 March, after a hangar fire, which spread across a total area of 1,000 square meters. And Baza reported that restrictions at the airport were introduced because of an attempted drone attack at the production facility. So that's what we know. There's not much more that we know at this point. There's very little in the mainstream news so far, but I'm bringing you whatever is we can actually hang our hat on. Okay, maybe we'll talk more about it tomorrow. In the meantime, let's look at this. David Sachs. David Sachs is an interesting character. David Sachs says, "I'm an American. Ukraine is not our war, and if we had stayed out of it, there would have been no war." Well, there would have been a war. It's just that you would have stayed out of it and allowed an authoritarian to run over a democratic country, and you're okay with that. He also posted this. Ukrainian border guards caught 37 men of conscription age attempting to flee from Ukraine. Each of them paid 10,000 euros each to escape the meat grinder. Ukraine is now the largest prison state in the world. Okay, so there's many directions that I can go with that, but the first thing I want to say is this legitimate? Is this real? Now, David Sachs is actually somewhat influential. He is followed by the likes of Che Bose, Redacted, Tucker Carlson, and so this will be spread and spread. So Randy Mott replied to him, and Randy Mott's a conservative that supports Ukraine like I do. Once again, Sachs embarrasses himself with reposting Russian propaganda. This video was originally posted as a detention of illegal immigrants into Ukraine. Now, I don't know that for a fact, okay? So I'm not sure who's on the side of right, but I look at this and I see RT talking about Ukrainian draft dodgers brutally beaten on detention videos. Border guards have detained 34 men, and it's the same story, and it has part of the same images here. So I do not know. But when RT is saying it, and I see others saying, yeah, this was a fake video from earlier from a different thing, I'm skeptical. Now, I'm asking you, if you can find the original and you post it below, I will pin it so people can see where the original was and the time and that sort of thing. Okay, but you got to be careful with that because, again, the repeaters like Tucker Carlson and Che Bose and Redacted, I'm sure Ben Hodges is just doing his homework here. We're trying to find out what's going on. But Redacted, and those, they're going to say this sort of thing in their videos and spread this kind of stuff. All right. So next, the other day, Pope said that Ukraine should have courage of white flag negotiations. Well, let's look at the actual text of what he said. In the interviews, Francis was asked for his position on a debate between those who say Ukraine should give up as it has not been able to repel Russian forces and those who say doing so would legitimize actions by the strongest party. The interviewer used the term white flag in the question. Quote, "It is one interpretation. That is true," Francis said, according to advanced transcript of the interview and a partial video made available to Reuters on Saturday. It is due to be broadcast on March 20th. He continues, "But I think that the strongest one is the one who looks at the situation, thinks about the people, and has the courage of white flag and negotiates," Francis said, adding that the talks should take place with the help of international powers. So the stronger party should have the courage to negotiate and call a truce, is what he's saying. The word negotiate is a courageous word. When you see it, when you see that you're defeated, that things are not going well, you have the courage to negotiate. So white flag also means surrender, and this isn't a good look for him. It was believed to be the first time Francis had used a term such as white flag or defeated in discussing the Ukraine war, although he has spoken in the past about the need for negotiations. So the response to that by Kuleba was the Pope's call for a white flag. Our flag is yellow and blue, which is a nice way of answering that. Our flag is yellow and blue one. This is the flag by which we live, die, and prevail. We shall never raise any other flags. And then he went on and was somewhat kind to the Pope, although I don't think he wanted to be, but he thanked the Pope for his constant prayers for peace, adding that Ukraine continues to hope that after 2 years of devastating war in the heart of Europe, the Pontiff will find an opportunity to pay the apostolic visit to Ukraine to support over 1 million Ukrainian Catholics, over 5 million Greek Catholics, all Christians, and all Ukrainians. So that was a good tone for him to set, although I'm pretty sure he wanted to say something else. Now, why was the Pope saying this? I don't know. It was just a small slice of a broader interview, and the Pope's bent is generally toward peace, but why not say that toward Russia? Like, Russia, stop doing what you're doing. I don't know, but there we are. Okay. The reason I show this today, though, is because it also will be picked up and used as propaganda pieces by the other side. Even the Pope is saying you should have a white flag in Ukraine. Okay. Last three big stories. Germany and France are drawing two completely different conclusions from the war in Ukraine. Now, this is from Le Monde, and I tell you it's from Le Monde for a reason, because it's going to kind of frame how we see things. The debate sparked by Germany's refusal to supply Taurus missiles and Emmanuel Macron's statement on the possibility of Western ground troops being sent to Ukraine have once again dealt a heavy blow to French-German relations. It's no secret that Macron and Scholz have very different personalities. They do. There is less and less understanding in Paris of Germany's cold feet, and on such important issues as the future of European Union, energy, defense, there are fundamental differences in positions. Now, I'm showing you this for a reason. Scholz has been pretty supportive, right? Macron, not so much. In the early days, he was kind of like trying to go back to Russia again to plead with Putin, and then you didn't hear a lot from him. But in the recent weeks, he's been like kind of gutsy. Okay, well, Germany has become the second largest supplier of arms to Ukraine after the United States. France remains a distant 14th. And I didn't even think about that until reading this. To criticize the German chancellor for always doing too little, too late in this conflict is therefore in no way in line with reality. But Scholz keeps doing this weird, we don't want to upset Putin, we don't want to anger him, and that's kind of what's at stake here. Nevertheless, German government is making no secret of its growing irritation with Macron's desire to position himself as Europe's leader. In Berlin, Macron's statement that sending NATO troops to Ukraine could not be ruled out was the last straw. It undermined the German chancellor's approach of not provoking Russia and not allowing German or Western troops to be involved in the conflict. Right. So we don't want to provoke. It's like we've done that in the United States as well. And by the way, I'm showing you this to show you that it's not just us. Like, everyone's jacked up. Everyone has these conflicts. It's not just in the United States, although ours is pretty bad. Sure, France and Germany aren't seeing eye to eye, and Slovakia and the Czech Republic aren't seeing eye to eye with Fico and the Czech leader Peter Pavel. Right. But Putin is this, it's like he's the crazy uncle that you're trying to appease and trying to, not upset at Thanksgiving dinner. Don't do that. Just recognize that what Putin actually is this bully, and if you allow the bully to have more ground, the bully takes more ground. All right. Last two things, quickly. Heads up, I'm about to launch a huge fundraising campaign with Greg Terry. It'll launch 12 noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow with an alliance of YouTuber communities. This includes ATP Geopolitics, Johnny Pierce, Warthog Defense, Rick the Ukrainian, Mercado Media will be involved in this, and many others. Okay, so I just want you to be aware of that. Look for that tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Finally, I created this video. Everyone's been asking me, how do I contact the speaker directly? This is how you contact the speaker directly. His number is 1-202-225-2777. Ask him to put the Ukraine bill, the Ukraine border bill on the floor for an up or down vote. Please, please, if you're an American, please do this. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and the coffees. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.